Good day, Sweet World, and welcome to the No Dunks Podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, September 26th. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the yard, and alongside me, as always, trying to figure out his new computer right here, right now, it's Tas Mellis.
I really appreciate everything that comes with a new computer, but sometimes, there's some curveballs along the way.
It's a pain in the ass, if we're being honest, but once you get it up and running, yes, it's
I'm getting into it with my fingerprints, Skeets. I like that.
Oh, you added that? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Now they have all your information, though.
Yeah, I'm screwed. And then I just publicize that right here, right now. Someone is hacking my fingerprints right now. Don't look at this. Don't look at this fingerprint.
Don't take a screen grab.
I'm showing you. Yes, do not do that.
Tas's finger. JD's in the background pushing the buttons, making things happen. We're here in the yard. There's still a lot of work going on at the Classic Factory, trying to get it ready in time for the start of the NBA season, which is, well, a few weeks away, but it was NBA Media Day today, Tas. That's why we had to jump on here. We'll talk about NBA Media Day, the highlights, anything you took away from any of these press conferences. And then we got some news and notes, couple trade rumors with Jae Crowder. So we'll get into that. Shout out to the stream team, though, joining us live right now on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. You know the drill. And quickly, it is Monday, right? Yeah, I said Monday. It feels weird. Our schedule is looking like this week. New No Dunks podcast tomorrow, with special guest Alex Wong. Yes, he's going to talk about, his previous book and his upcoming book, and I'm sure the Raptors and everything else going on in the NBA world. He's got his own podcast. So Alex will be the guest.
We're also going to talk eggnog. I've decided.
Wow. What, is he a fan?
That man loves eggnog.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to tell him about the best eggnog he can find in the province of Ontario.
Okay, wow. Get ready for that.
I miss that eggnog. I would cross the border and go get that eggnog in return because it's that good.
Really? No,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's tomorrow with Alex. That's
what a
new.
Pitch. What
Eastern.
a pitch.
Yeah, for sure. What a pitcher of eggnog. Then, Tas, you'll be on the No Bunts podcast. That's on Wednesday morning with another special guest, another Canadian, Blake Murphy, who's obviously really follows the Blue Jays pretty extensively. So I assume you'll be talking a little Toronto and MLB playoffs.
Actually, we're going to break down the Braves Jays 92 World Series. We're going to go back. It's going to be a way back playback. It's the 30th year anniversary. So we're going to go through it game by game. Game 1 through game 6.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. And so maybe like sprinkle in some current MLB, whatever's going on. I know we got the Judge sitting on 60 still. And
yeah, but Skeets, this season's a little dull right now. I got to be honest. I know Judge is a great story, but there aren't a lot of playoff races. There's one race in the NL East, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So we're just waiting for the playoffs to arrive in 10 days.
Okay. So we're talking Braves Jays 92. Yeah.
We're going Jack Morris lifting the leg, pumping it in there.
Okay. Yeah. I can't wait. I didn't know it was going to be about that, so I'm very excited. I actually know those games in that series. Okay, Blake Murphy coming on No Bunts this week. That's on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Later on that Wednesday, Is This Good? Makes its triumphant return to the No Dunks podcast feed. We didn't have one last week, and I saw the people wondering, where is it? What happened to Is This Good? What happened to Matty O? Guy's a busy guy right now, so didn't have one last week, but that comes back on Wednesday. I think it's me, Lee, and JD talking to Matty O about the hot new topics and whether or not they're good. And then final one here for the week will be on Thursday. New No Buffs, Survivor 43 recap podcast. That's myself. That's Trey. That's JD talking about episode 2 of Survivor. And I encourage you to check out our No Buffs YouTube feed, podcast feed, and we have in the description of that show a link to get in our fantasy pool, our No Buff Survivor fantasy pool this year. Got some prizes to the top 7 finishers on the season. Tas, you've signed up. I saw your name there. Have you made your picks yet? Because you still have time, of course.
I have, but might flip them because we still have time to flip them as well.
Yeah, you do. You don't. But do you want to second guess yourself? Just go with your gut. Yeah.
I don't know. tough season, as always with Survivor.
It's impossible. Let's be honest. It's impossible.
It is.
You just have to get lucky. But it's a lot of fun, and we'll be making our picks and talking about those. Okay, so NBA Media Week, it tipped off over the weekend. Had the Wizards, Hawks, Bucks, and then the defending champion Warriors. All those teams that are competing overseas in preseason NBA Global Games, they held their media days over the weekend. And then the rest of the league, it has either spoken to Tas or is speaking to currently the media right now. I know this is maybe a difficult question, but have you had any favorite moments or takeaways from any of these media days from any of these teams?
You better believe it, baby. I think the juiciest one is RJ Barrett of the New York Knicks coming out and saying, quote, "I really think we're going to shock the world." Gotta love it. I gotta love some New York Knicks drama, because it sure feels like that image of RJ Barrett saying that, because it's being Instagrammed. The comment is there. The Athletic already has it up. That's just going to come back and bite the Knicks in the ass 6 months from now, as it always does, because it's the Knicks. So I got to, as much as I love the confidence and I love the Jalen Brunson signing, I just don't know, because I've been going through my mind all morning long with the dogs that are in the Eastern Conference. It's so good, Skeets. It's just so good at the top.
Yeah,
there's just so many good teams. The Raptors have to be a 50-win team with them bringing back all those guys and all the minutes. They have to be. To me, the Cavs should be a 50-win team, but how can they win 50 games when you've got the Sixers, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Heat, and then there's still a bunch of other teams. So the Knicks RJ proclaiming them as a team that is going to shock the world. I mean, it'd be shocking if they're in the top 8 with all those teams I named, right? I think.
Well, God, that better be their goal, I would hope. But shock the world. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but the Bulls. Like, there's so many teams.
Yeah, but this is media day, Tas. Everybody's full of optimism. Everybody's 0-0. Nobody's lost a game yet, and everybody's going to win the championship. You almost want them to to make a Survivor analogy here. Jeff Probst, he used to get himself into trouble with the Survivor community at times, because every upcoming season, Probst would say, this one's amazing. This one is going to shock you. We got these incredible new castaways. You're going to love this, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Hype it up, hype it up, hype it up. And then sometimes it would fall flat on its face. Now, it's still the greatest show ever made, but sometimes, the seasons weren't that amazing. So then he sort of stopped doing that. And I think that's the smart move. We should have seen this at Media Day. Players and coaches and teams going, we're not that good. We may not. I think Popovich did this, actually. I think he told them not to go bet on the Spurs to win the title this season. That's the move. Yeah. Expectations low, and then exceed them.
And Pop is hot. Somehow he's exceeding expectations. He was asked, what keeps you coming back year after year, Pop? And he said, my paycheck.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a great line. Pop keeps producing. I guess so, Skeets. I guess unless you're Boston Rob, or somebody who performs every time he's on the show, you can't just say we're going to shock the world, because RJ Barrett has not shocked the world quite yet in that way. And I just because it's the Knicks. I know you're 0-0, as you said. Of course, you can be optimistic. Like, we'll get to Zion. I'm drinking that Zion kool-aid, but you're the Knicks, and so you should have learned that this can come bite you in the ass. But that was one that jumped out to me.
Right. And you're right. I mean, the kid says something like that. He's trying to be optimistic. He's excited. He's got the big contract now, and he might be the guy there. Like, who knows, right? Along with Brunson and Randall and stuff like that. But it just gets plucked and pulled and put on every graphic. And then if the Knicks are to start 3-7 and whatever, he's struggling, then of course that's going to be brought back up. But okay. So you're pumped on Zion though too. You saw the photos, obviously. I think Trey was tweeting, "Look at those boulder shoulders. He's looking good."
Well, I like how it has been affirmed that he has actually taken his exercise routine seriously. I know it's just one photo and those shoulders look great, but there was an article by Will Guillory on The Athletic talking to Zion Williamson's trainer. And I know we all get excited. Hashtag muscle watch. We're all looking at these guys, right. And Zion went up to the podium with his jersey so you could see the shoulders. And we're all just excited because Zion, there's talk about him getting back on the floor. But to read Will Guillory's column on The Athletic and to read that the trainer basically said, this is the first time in Zion Williamson's history where he is dead set on his routine and actually making the most out of that body that he has been given. So I'm buying that because there's some talk about that. There's some actual, for me, that's factual evidence that the trainer said that this is legit now. This is Zion getting to his peak. So that doesn't mean he's not going to get injured, I suppose. But if he's putting himself, I think, in the best position. So I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Are you drinking that Kool-Aid, or is that just me?
I mean, I'm high on the Pelicans, and I know we'll get to see CJ McCollum and his contract extension and what that team did last year. And then you had Zion. Yeah, sure. And they really played hard for Willie Green. And, I think there's a photo going around Twitter of David Griffin, almost swooning in the background. He's very obviously excited about this upcoming season.
Yeah,
I think it's a photo.
Yeah,
there it is.
There it is.
Good stuff, JD. It's CJ and Zion Williamson getting ready.
Look at that.
Shake hands, are talking, and there he is. David Griffin just loving this.
It's from the other room.
He's excited.
He's like through a doorway, just peeking at my prized possessions.
He's pumped.
Yeah.
He's pumped. Yeah. But yeah, you said it. Everybody's like in the best shape they've ever been in, and here we go.
Yeah. But we know that Zion Williamson, this is all through hearsay and all that. But we know he hasn't been. He's a young player. He hasn't been set on his diet routine. Like nobody is really when they're in their first couple of years. And so, I'm just excited to see again a guy who puts in 27 points per game on 61% shooting when he's healthy, and they're telling me that he's healthy and beyond healthy. I mean, this really like if he is to that level where he is a totally new player, he's going to put himself in the best position to stay on the floor, which is obviously the most important thing. And damn, 27, 60%. Like, what are the numbers going to be? What are the numbers going to be when he's got a supporting CJ and a supporting Brandon Ingram? I mean, they could be 30 a game. And,
absolutely. I think we're burying the lead here, though, on the highlight of NBA Media Day. At least to me, it has to be Jimmy's hair. Jimmy Butler showing up at the Media Day press conference, and I know we have a photo for everybody here on YouTube. It's a sight to see here. I mean, we knew this. We had seen photos and videos of him with the braid extensions, but he still has them. And I mean, like, the media room was laughing. There's a hilarious clip of him and Taylor Rooks. Like, basically, she can't stop laughing, and he's like cutting it up with her. And I guess he's going to get rid of them, Tas, maybe before the start of the season. But what?
Just assume. He assumed because
I think he said something about he might get rid of them.
That's disappointing.
he said he just did this like to get the internet talking all summer. And it worked for a week. So I think it's even weirder seeing him baby faced, like no like sort of scraggly beard or any beard whatsoever. That's it looks like a different person, and not just because of the extensions.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's long in the back and short on the front right now. And it's strange. I'm so dumb when it comes to hair. I thought I saw those in the offseason. I thought, did he grow his hair? But I like how you called it was like 3 months ago. I just don't know how long it takes to grow hair. I just got no idea. I have a friend who's talking about shaving her head, and she didn't know if she wanted to shave her head. And I thought, I'll grow back. No problem. And then she said, it'd take like 4 years to grow back to like shoulder length. I said, 4 years? That's how long it takes to grow back hair? I guess so. So Jimmy didn't grow that in the offseason. You solved it for me there. The braid extensions. Yep. But why doesn't he just tie it back like Jimmy or Jae Crowder? Or
his
like
real hair there. Yeah. No, it's I don't know. But people in the stream team right now, some of them are seeing this photo for the first time, Jimmy, there with that look. And the clean shave has people, doing a double take, as Gustavo says there. I'm with you. It was like one thing to see the hair in sort of in person, but it was another like, whoa, where's his facial hair? Jimmy's always got facial hair, I feel like. He just looks strange.
It is strange. I like how his teammate Max Strus said, all summer I worked on staying in bounds. Because his foot hovered over the sideline there. Was he in bounds? Was he out of bounds? But yeah, those are my moments. Any other big media day moments from you?
I mean, the only notes I have are I love when just someone randomly changes their number. So we got Rudy Gay changing his number from 8 to 22, which he wore in UConn and early in his NBA career. So, okay, Rudy Gay back to number 22. Yep.
At this point of his career, very weird.
Yeah. Markieff Morris had a great quote about the Nets summer, obviously with all the drama around KD and Kyrie and everything. And he said, quote, "It's just the NBA. We got to be able to sell something in the summer." Markieff Morris, he knows content is king. Weird vibes around some teams, I will say. Like, that's one takeaway. Maybe the Nets, because you got Nash having to address, Durant basically wanting him fired and KD speaking on the matter. Like, it's just a little odd.
That's rough.
Yeah. And then Suns are a little strange. We'll get to the Crowder thing. He's not there, but you have the whole Ayton back and obviously the Sarver stuff and him selling the team. And then the Celtics, with everybody, some of the players having some sort of eye-opening quotes about the Udoka suspension and moving forward. And it's just strange, I think, all three of those teams. And not that that's really a surprise, I would say.
No, it's not. The Brooklyn Nets have got to be one of the weirder scenarios. I listed a bunch of those Eastern Conference teams earlier. I didn't even list the Nets because who knows what happens there, but they have two of the greatest players in the freaking world. I didn't even mention the Atlanta Hawks. Seeing their media day picture of John Collins, Trae Young, and new Hawk DeJounte Murray makes you think that team should be good. They should be good. There's so many teams. There's going to be, like last year, I think it was 1 through 4, 53 wins up top and then 51 wins for the fourth place team. So all 4 teams had 51 to 53 teams. You could see a lot of that happening again, where they take some wins from each other and you don't have like even a 55 win team. There's just too many good teams there. There's a ton of them.
Yeah. I think the only other note I have here, Tim Hardaway Jr. said that the bench decorum rule, which you might remember the Mavericks were fined for several times last postseason, Tim Hardaway Jr. thinks it should be called the Theo Pinson rule because Pinson was like the lead cheerleader through the Mavericks conference finals run there, which caused Dallas to be fined $175,000 in 3 separate instances for the bench players standing too long for an extended period of time. Remember, I brought that up at one point early in the postseason. Like, the NBA doesn't care about this anymore, but they did, I guess, and they fined them. So I guess the Theo Pinson rule. Yeah, I don't mind it. He's got a good name for it, I think.
Yeah, and he's one of those players that everybody says is a good locker room guy, a good teammate, but never really done a ton in the NBA. He's made his mark on the bench, essentially, as far as us NBA nerds go. So I like how somebody who's not really known for anything else gets put into that. Yeah, now we can remember.
Sure.
Yeah, it's if you got a shot, you got the kiss or something like that's memorable now for him. The Theo standing on pins on needles. Nah,
okay,
whatever.
I do like we can say like, hey, stop being such a Theo over there. Like sit down. You can start like heckling that other teams that stop being a Pinson. We can workshop that, but I like that from Tim Hardaway Jr. Let us know in the stream team if there's anything else you loved from Media Day over the weekend or on Monday here today, if you are live. Because if you're on Twitter today, it is just your feed is going nuts. Like it's just there was a funny photo of Robin Lopez like boxing out because they told them to do something. The photographer said do something natural that you would do in a game. So he just dropped a box out stance, which is very funny. Like he's box out kid. I saw Herb Jones talking about how bad he was at fishing. It just goes on. It just goes on and on and on. It's you really you can't keep up. To be honest.
No, The Athletic did a good job of putting it in a live blog. So just follow along that way. Because you're right. If you want, jump on over there. They've got both days, front to back, wall to wall coverage. Because when you're on Twitter, it just comes too fast.
It's too fast, and you're seeing the same thing multiple times from different accounts. Yeah, I highly recommend the Athletic live blog of Media Day because they're just pulling the best quotes and the best photos in there, and just it keeps updating. It's a great way to do it. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. Get yourself an Athletic subscription. People are saying Giannis's insight on Euroball was pretty cool. Very, very cool, Roberto. Thanks for pointing that out in the stream team. Anyway, let's get into some of the news here, Tas. And we mentioned his name there. You're talking about his hair. The Suns' Jae Crowder is going to sit out training camp as sides work on his trade. I think Shams was breaking this down. He and then Jae Crowder took to Twitter to confirm that he wasn't going to be there in Phoenix for training camp, and they're going to be working on a deal. Crowder tweeted, "One must seek work where he is wanted," which sounds very like Yoda-like to me. I don't know if that is a quote from someone else, but Crowder, he's going to be moving on. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Are you surprised by this? And do you have any trade destinations if you want to get into that?
I guess I am a little surprised by it. The fact that he was part of a team that went to the finals and isn't extremely old and is kind of a glue guy. Why not keep him around? But at the same time, I guess they can find that in sort of a Torrey Craig or, somebody else on the roster that could help out. But I don't know. They just have the core. Obviously, it's Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and then Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton in the starting lineup. And there's always that fifth. Who is that fifth?
Well, I think it's Cam Johnson is why maybe Crowder doesn't like it, is what the word is on the street, that Monty Williams is saying Cam's going to be starting at the 4. Oh. And maybe that has, Crowder believes that should still be his role and he's still worthy of being a starter. I don't know. I mean, it could be part
that's
of this.
Great. And I'm excited because I think that sort of makes sense when you put it that way. Mm-hmm. Because Cam Johnson probably has more untapped potential that we haven't seen. Obviously, we know what we're getting from Jae Crowder. So, yeah, I guess they want to weaponize. They want when the ball stops and you can sort of lay off Crowder a little bit and just guard his 3-point shot. Yeah, they want to be able to score from all 5 positions, I guess. So that makes some sense. And yeah, we saw the Cam Johnson, like sometimes he had a monstrous game last year with the game winner. So yeah, there's some untapped potential there. They just want all 5 guys to be able to score, I guess. But I guess it's not. I guess it's more about that than about getting rid of Jae Crowder for whatever reason.
Yeah, I guess so. And Jae Crowder, he really does feel like the type of guy you could put on any NBA team. And sort of he can give you minutes. He can either be a starter if he had to, be probably your 5th best option out there. Or of course he could be coming off the bench. And I mean, he went to the finals with the Heat. He went to the finals with the Suns. So he obviously has some playoff experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, back-to-back years, started every single game, played 30+ minutes a game. But at some I guess points in his careers, butted some heads a little bit, but
yeah, he's fiery for sure.
He's fiery, but yeah, a guy's played for a ton of teams. I mean, he's already bounced around a ton, which is kind of surprising, but he's still, fairly young for a role player. Yeah, wow, he's from Villa Rica. He was born in Villa Rica, Georgia, just down the road.
Where's that?
Right by Buc-ee's. Essentially.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know if it's right by Buc-ee's, but that way. 85 West, 20 West. Jesus. 20 West, right before the border. Halfway.
Okay, good to know. I'm fascinated to see who puts together the most compelling trade package for him, because it's not going to be a 1st-round pick. If Bogdanovic, and we'll get to that trade. I saw somebody asking, you're going to talk about that. I mean, he couldn't get a 1st-round pick to the Jazz. I mean, then I don't think Jae Crowder is, but I mean, you can move him to a lot of teams because his contract is small too. It doesn't take a lot of a player or two to put something together. And I know there's some popular ones out there that people like. I guess Chicago Bulls are at the top of a lot of people's list. Are you moving Kobe White, for example, Javonte Green or something for Jae Crowder? What do you think of that?
Just to have a little bit more defensive stability. You definitely want the Bulls need to be a little tougher defensively for sure. Mm-hmm. So this would sort of make sense to give up one of those young guys.
Yeah,
you kind of hope that Javonte Green turns into somewhat of a Jae Crowder,
right?
Yeah. Kobe White. I mean, yeah. Look, the Bulls probably got to give something up to do this. So maybe you have to. I don't think you can compare that Jazz deal though. That one is just weird. Yeah, Bojan Bogdanovic, a freaking baller, couldn't get a 1st-round pick back from a team. That's really weird. But then you look at another deal happened a couple months ago, like Royce O'Neal from the Jazz got a 1st-round pick back. So I don't know what to believe with these picks. Like that, we'll get to that Jazz deal. That one is weird. But yeah, Crowder on the Bulls does make sense, right?
Yeah, I think he does. I know people have said the Cleveland Cavaliers, like he would slot in perfectly into sort of like a wing position, small forward, sort of power forward. What
Nah,
would it take? Like,
don't do it. I don't think you do it. I don't think you do it if you're the Cavs.
even if it's like Chetty Osman and Lamar Stevens.
I'm a Chetty man. Yeah, I think those guys can score on that team. I think you want somebody. I know they've got some scores now, Don Mitchell and Darius Garland, but I don't think I'd do it. I think I'd roll with the Chetty. Lamar Stevens, he's a young player. I think the Cavs are in a good spot. I don't think they go for it with something like that.
And then I saw Lance here in the stream team back to Miami for Jae Crowder. Well, Basketball News had a 3-way deal where the Heat would receive Jae Crowder, so he would go back to Miami. The Suns would receive O'Shea Brissett and then a future second-round pick by way of Miami. And the Pacers, obviously involved if Brissett is as the third team, they would get Duncan Robinson and a future first-round pick by way of Miami. So the Pacers would be the team to make it happen cap-wise because of the Duncan contract and stuff like that. I'm not against that. Some of the moving pieces there. I think the Suns would be like, whoa, that's what we got for Jae Crowder. The Shaper said, I think it's pretty good player actually in this league, and good old Canadian boy as well. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you can go crazy with every team. You can almost find a somewhat realistic trade if you're put one or two pieces together.
He's got a number that is tradable for sure.
Yeah, it's like 10 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10. Yeah, so we'll see. But I mean, he ain't playing on the Suns. I think we agree. I mean, if he's tweeting in all caps, and I guess he deleted the one tweet, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be there, and they'll see what they can get for him. Moving on here. This was happened over the last couple of days. The Pelicans and CJ McCollum agreed to a 2-year, $64 million extension, Tassie. CJ getting paid here with the extension on this. Does it surprise you? What do you think?
These extensions kind of come out of nowhere pretty often for me anyways. I guess I didn't hear about this. And then you kind of look at it and you say, okay, a couple more years of a very good player. Sounds good. Yeah. I guess both sides wanted to make this happen. Stability for CJ McCollum, stability for a Pelicans team that, went out and got a very good player at the trade deadline and don't want him just for a short window. But David Griffin is really going for it with this core. Mm-hmm. Now that you lock up a guy now he'll be under contract for 4 years. Brandon Ingram under contract for 3 years. And the key still lies with Mr. Zion Williamson. This looks like a good deal if Zion plays. If it doesn't, then they could. If he doesn't, then a couple of years from now they could be scrambling. Is how it sort of looks But with Zion playing, these pieces all fit. It's about Zion playing, and I got to be pretty pumped if I'm the Pelicans front office. I don't know if they made this decision based on how Zion looks, but on paper this all looks good. It's just whether or not they're actually on the basketball floor together.
Yeah, McCollum, if you don't remember, came over from Portland right around the trade deadline last year and played really well. I mean, he averaged like 24 points per game, high efficiency, high usage rate actually, because Ingram was missing a lot of time there. Obviously, no Zion. Like that's the thing. We haven't seen CJ play with Zion Williamson. I think it makes sense. I know McCollum was pretty excited to be like more of a point guard almost. Like he was really sort of like the ball handler when he came to New Orleans. Running sort of like a 1-2 combo there, and he likes that. So I like this. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't like, ugh, what? CJ McCollum. I'm like, his game should age well, and he's on a good team here. And, he came in there and gave him a little veteran leadership, and they made some noise in the playoffs. They took 2 games off the Suns, if I remember correctly, right? After getting into the playoffs. So.
Yeah, they went to the 6. They've got chemistry. Will it work with Zion? It should, like you said. Why wouldn't it? It should definitely. They should definitely gel together. Yeah, it's all about the books and whether or not they're playing, because in a couple of years they'll be paying those 3 guys from McCollum, Ingram, and Zion over $100 million. And yeah, if one of those guys isn't playing, you kind of need all 3 to be really good. Like they met expectations and more without Zion Williamson winning 2 games in the first round, and that's probably all you're going to expect if even 2 of those guys are playing.
Yeah.
I say that, but who knows? Who knows with Zion and what a special talent he is. If it's Zion and Ingram and McCollum's not there, then they could still be a really good team. I don't know. I'm drinking the Zion Kool-Aid. I'm in for now.
And they're going to have to give Herb Jones like a $30 million contract in a couple of years, the way that guy plays.
Yeah.
So going to get very expensive. So congrats there to McCollum. In seeing this news and reading about it, The Athletic like directed me to an old article from Will Guillory when McCollum came from Portland to New Orleans. And I had forgotten about this little piece in that. I don't know if it ever came up on the show, but I'm going to read it. This is from Will Guillory there at the Athletic about McCollum. CJ breaks the season down into 25-game chunks, and he charts all of his misses over those periods, evaluating what went wrong on each of them. Did the ball go right or left? Was he leaning when he took the shot? How long did he hold his follow-through? How many of the misses were contested? How many were uncontested? True sicko shit right there. Like, this guy's going back and watching the tape on all of his misses, or at least getting somebody to track it all for him. Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see that data, Yeah. Is he going left on more? Is he going right? That's cool. So he just studies the game was the whole point of that.
Yeah. I guess that helps him. Like, if he was going left 20 games ago, I don't know, like.
I mean, if someone can, well, yes, he seems like the type of player that could like look at all that, see the tape, see the numbers, and then like apply it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that would work for everybody. Like, some guys are the opposite. It's like, hey man, you're thinking way too much. Just hoop. But CJ feels like one of those rare cats that it's like, no, the way he computes the game and sees game and his basketball intelligence like off the charts. I could see why that would work for him.
It's like the Kyle Korver 20-point checklist or whatever that was. Like,
right.
If he knows, if he can, put it all together real quick, then I guess it helps that that yesterday he was going left. The 25-game chunks part is
breaks it up.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, let's get to the trade that did happen over the last couple of days. The Pistons coming out of nowhere here, acquiring Bojan Bogdanovic from the Jazz. All it took them was Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee. And Tas, I had seen you tweeting about Bogdanovic before the trade even happened. And you were saying, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, this is going to be a good get probably for whoever gets him. Obviously, a great three-point shooter. Been around for a while, bit of a veteran. So I think you like this from the Detroit side of things.
What a steal for the Pistons. I think it's just a really, really smart move. Look, he's not winning a championship. He's maybe a little past his prime at 33 years old, but he can sure show the young guys how to work and score, like a guy who'll be beside him in Sadiq Bey, who had himself a 50-point game at the end of the last season. Bogdanovic has had a 44-point game because he can freaking fire. He's a near 40% shooter for an 8-year career. And the number one thing is to help those young guys. Number two thing is to help them win. And number three thing is he could be flipped for a better player by the deadline if they decide just to stay young. Yeah. And I think he's going to garner a better player than Kelly Olynyk or Saben Lee. I just think that Troy Weaver made a real shrewd move here in Detroit. I just don't get why Bogdanovic couldn't have got a better player for Danny Ainge and the Jazz. I don't know if Danny Ainge just loves Kelly Olynyk so much that he needed him on his team, but Bogdanovic isn't just a one-way scorer type guy. Like, he has stepped up in the playoffs when he was with the Pacers. He's guarded LeBron. He's not a pushover. He's a tough guy. And I didn't envision him on the Pistons. I envisioned him on more of a role like we were just talking about with Jae Crowder, like, more
of a contending team.
Yeah, third, fourth guy that could win you games. I mean, you go to him at the end of games to hit shots. So I think the Pistons did great. Yeah,
I was loving this trade for Detroit. And for all the reasons you said, they had a bunch of centers on their team because Kelly Olynyk really is a stretch five. Bogdanovic 6'7", he's more of a 4. I guess you can even play him at the 3. So it opens up a little more time at the center position for some of their young guys on Detroit. They needed some wing guys, so he's done that, and they needed shooting. Detroit was one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. Bogdanovic is a 39% career three-point shooter, which is, really, really elite on quite a bit of attempts. So that's good. Opens up more room for Cade, more room for some of their shooters on the wing and their attackers and stuff like that. So I like that. And you said it. This guy Bogdanovic, he's playing for his contract. I mean, he's a free agent at the end of next season. He makes 19 mil. He's at that age where he's probably got one more pretty decent, contract if he plays well. So he's going to be, he's going to be like trying to fill it up. And that means you make a decision if you're Troy Weaver and the Pistons around the deadline. It's like, oh, somebody's offering us something too good that we can't turn down because he's not a part of our super long-term plans. Then let's just do that. So that's a win-win to me. I like it.
Totally. They probably look at themselves and say, why can't we be the Cavs of last year? Let's surprise some people with how much talent. Like the backcourt of Cade and Jaden Ivey, and then the front court, with Sadiq Bey on the wing and Bogdanovic and Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, I think they believe. I think they definitely could use some space there for Ivy, and this helps. But they got a lot of talent, and I don't think they're thinking, hey, let's flip him for an asset. I think they're probably thinking, well, let's be good.
Yeah,
but they could, and this really saves their ass. I don't get it from the Jazz perspective.
The Jazz, you don't get it because they didn't get something better back.
Yeah, something decent. I know there's talks like that they were had to take somebody's big salary back for Bogdanovic, and this Olynyk and Saban Lee is a way around that. But your team is going to stink this year. You couldn't get an asset back or a huge salary, like some combination. I guess not. I mean, Danny Ainge isn't a dumb guy, but it's confusing to me.
Yeah, I think they sliced $5 million off their salary cap sheet for this coming season, but at the cost of adding more salary in 23-24. But that's all because of sometimes partial guarantees and stuff like that. But yeah, I was a little shocked that that was all that was coming back there. But nice move from the Detroit Pistons, who are, I mean, look, they're going to try and be one of those. You're not going to, you didn't list them when you're going through all those Eastern Conference teams, and I think you rightfully didn't list them. But the hype around them, if Cade starts the season like he ended it last year, it's like, why couldn't this be a team at least fighting for a play-in tournament spot? I think that would be a hell of an achievement if they could do that here with this team. And I saw a great point from Ziller too in his newsletter. I think it was today, or it must have been today actually, talking about just the value of solid veterans on a rising team, like in recent seasons, like recent past. Like the Cavs, Rubio and Kevin Love, the Wolves with Beverly, the Grizzlies, Steven Adams and Kyle Anderson, and the Pelicans with CJ McCollum and Valanciunas and stuff like that. It's nice to have some guys that have been around the block and can help sort of steer the ship there. It's a nice move from Detroit.
Yeah. They want to be the Cavs. The Pistons are this year's Cavs. I'm not actually, I don't actually mean they're going to win that many games.
Right.
The Cavs ended up winning 44, but that's got to be what they're aiming for. So if somebody wants to put that on a graphic and send it around Instagram like it's a fake quote, but it's a real quote that I said, go ahead. The Pistons are this year's Cavs. Because that makes sense. Like Bogdanovic is, exactly like the Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio, help out the young guys in Mobley and Garland and Allen like they did last year. So they're trying to help out, Cade and Stewart and Ivy and Bay. I mean, they got talent.
I look forward to liking that Instagram photo or tweet with your face saying the Pistons are last year's Cat. I will like that.
Yeah, little face. My little face. Because
face.
You got to sell the athlete.
Yeah.
The big one.
Okay. So it's going to be Bogdanovic? People are going to be pumped about that?
Cade.
Oh, Cade.
Like all the Pistons.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Group shot. Love it.
Yeah.
Final one here. I mean, look, this took the NBA by storm last week. And it's still, if we're being completely honest, still a little mysterious what actually happened. But we know Ime Udoka has been suspended by the Celtics for the 2022-23 season. The entire year, Tas. Crazy story again that I will reiterate. We don't really know sort of the full details of what the hell happened. I'm not sure we're ever going to, because you had the players talking about it oddly today at Media Day. We've had the ownership and the Celtics and Brad Stevens sort of like not saying a whole lot, but saying it's the right decision. Trust us. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Crazy.
We definitely don't know the details. And this is one thing I think the Celtics wanted to keep internal, but it was leaked first by what's
well, I'm scoffing at, like, I can't think of a story handled worse.
Yeah.
Really?
It's been handled pretty poorly. I mean, we've had some other ones in the NBA, but this is one where they didn't want it to leak to Adrian Wojnarowski first as a sort of a rumor, very vague rumor, and then Shams Charania came in and put some more specifics on it, and even still, we still don't know the specifics. So there's been this very long period where, the Twitterati, all the Twitter detectives are trying to figure things out, which has subjugated women in the Celtics organization to some ridiculous and very hateful comments, and that's been extremely, extremely unfortunate. And still, it's sort of, like you said, it's sort of in this middle ground now. It's in this purgatory where it's not reported fully, and it's obviously not kept in house either. So it's this thing where we still don't know what happened with Ime Udoka, but something bigger than consensual sex with another employee happened, because there's people like Matt Barnes on ESPN who came out and defended Ime Udoka at first. It's consensual sex. It happens, was sort of the premise. And then, he got off air and said, listen, somebody told me the details, and it's way more than that. And that's got to be the case for him to be suspended for a year. And it's just, listen, it's all, it's all fun to speculate, but these are people's lives. And this is something that should be kept in house. And I don't think he comes back. I don't know if I just think that's highly unlikely to fly in at these next season.
Feels very unlikely, but I think it adds even to the layer of confusion with all of this. Like, even from the players' side of things, like, he could be their coach next year. So it's like they're probably like tiptoeing around what they think they should say. It's so strange. The most we know, and it was weird how it was all coming out. So people were jumping to conclusions to either defend them or roast them, whatever side you were on. Shams said team leadership was led to believe by both parties that the relationship was consensual. There was that. But sources said that the woman recently accused Udoka of making unwanted comments toward her, leading the team to launch this internal sort of investigation, interviews and stuff like that. And I feel like the team keeps saying like multiple incidents too. I feel like it's being like peppered in there a lot. So he gets the 1-year suspension, and we'll go from there. But I mean, wild for a team that was just in the finals. Like, what does this do to the Boston Celtics? Like, I mean, you still include them as one of the best teams in the East. Like, sure, they got the talent that plays out there, but the coach is important. Obviously, the vibes of a team are very important, I think, in basketball. And I wonder how they deal with all this.
Yeah, it's difficult to say from this vantage point, because it's all about the chemistry. Do they like Joe Mazzulla? He's extremely young. He's had 3 years as an assistant. He's 33, if I'm correct. That's
33, 34, something like that.
Yeah. So if he can head the team as far as on the court goes, then maybe they put it behind him. It's possible. It's very possible with the amount of talent that they have. Just a strange scenario where the Celtics would have rather, I'm sure, kept it in house, and no one's fully given the details, which they're in a way they're protecting Ime Udoka. I would think, as you said, the multiple. It sure feels like multiple incidents. It feels like it definitely is far more than just consensual sex, but it's something that he's being somewhat protected right now, and it's very unlikely to me that they bring him back. But how do you bring him back after a year? He's just had a 1-year hiatus. He's paid leave. I guess it's not paid leave, but leave for a year, and then you just come back and you get your job back. And it's just,
there could be people are pointing out there could be legal issues why he's not actually fired yet, because you have to continue this. I mean, it could be that they're trying to cover their asses and stuff like that.
Yeah, he could, but they could fire a guy for whatever reason. They could just say it's basketball reasons. I mean, after he reached the finals,
goes to the finals.
It's to me, I don't. It's just, this is such an unprecedented scenario. Again, lots of unprecedented scenarios these last few years with the Kyrie situation, the Ben Simmons situation, and this one. I don't know how he comes back as a Celtic, anyways.
Yeah, and as for players on the floor, the Celtics also took a hit there, because the team announced on Friday that Robert Williams III, he had successful knee surgery, but that his timetable to resume basketball activities has doubled from the previous claim they were dropping. It's now up to like 8 to 12 weeks. So, I mean, it was 4 to 6 weeks. Now it's 8 to 12 weeks. That would put him like, I mean, we may not see him till Thanksgiving at least, Christmas even, I guess is possible. You don't want to rush him back after he was playing through injury in the postseason run there. But he's obviously an important piece to this Celtics team.
Yeah, they can still, I think, have enough guys to cover, while I know they're kind of thin up front, but as far as like, the first couple months, I should say, of the season, I think they'll be okay. I think it's unfortunate for him because it sure looks like he played through pain in April, May, and June, and now he's suffering because of it. I just don't feel like it was handled all that properly either. And this is probably the time where he needs to sit out as long as possible, because I still believe that at Horford, as a leader of that front line can get it done. This team is, with Tatum.
Horford was incredible. I mean,
yeah. And then Tatum's going to play the four a lot. So, yeah,
I think Horford said at media day too, he's ready to go back to backs now. He's that in shape. Doing good. That's what I think. Yeah, because he was like, there was some rest decisions there, but he'll have to sort of hold down the fort there at the center position for a good chunk of it if Robert Williams is going to miss some time. But they're obviously still a talented team, but going to be a weird season, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I guess Al Horford drank a lot of chocolate milk. That man loves his chocolate milk. The bones are strong.
I like that we started this podcast talking eggnog and we're starting talking chocolate milk. Yeah. Both products that I've been forced to drink way too much on the air and puke for your enjoyment in the run of this show, right? Because then I did chocolate milk way back at the Score in the Basketball Jones days.
Yeah, that was I was thinking of the eggnog for sure. Remember that? Yeah. I do remember you having a couple liters of milk. I thought it was milk. It was milk. No, I thought
it was chocolate. Well, it was milk. It was from your wife's milk bar, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I think we got you a nice light vanilla.
That does sound right. It does sound right.
Smelled good. I remember.
That was good milk. Better than the eggnog. Don't ever drink a vat of eggnog. Ask Alex if he could drink a giant bowl, like a punch bowl of eggnog in one sitting. You see how much he really likes eggnog after that. You get the shakes, man. You get the sugar shakes. Oh.
Yeah, that was our only puke on air, I think.
Yeah, and we were just going off the air while I was puking, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't good.
Not like we got fired, but like
the end of the show was over, and I was barfing my guts out in the back of our studio at the Starters. Go check it out if you're into that type of thing. Let's call it there. Tassie, thanks for jumping on with me. I'm glad the computer made it through it. Mine didn't.
What?
Well, my recording crapped out, JD, so we just gave you even more work. I know. I have to fire up my new computer. That's got to really get me doing that. So sorry, JD. I know you're back there somewhere crying. We will be back, though, like I said, tomorrow. I think we might do a little Top Shot Hot Boys with Lee Ellis, too, because they got some like vintage packs Tass, that Trey and I bought. 86, 87. Like Lee's year that he got into basketball. With the 87 All-Star game. So we might do some trivia with him around the Top Shot Hot Boys and ripping those packs. Might do that tomorrow morning. And then Alex Wong on the show on No Dunks to talk about eggnog and everything happened with the Raptors and his books and all that. And then we got no buns later in the week. We got no buffs. And we are so close to, what's going to be 5 to 10 shows a week about the NBA. And I'm not even kidding. It's going to get serious in a hurry. So subscribe and like and share the show and comment away and send in your questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Until we talk to you guys next time, Clipper Bro.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, eggnog has eggs in it.
Embrace your nog.
I was going to say it doesn't, but it does. Yeah, embrace that nog.
You could